I felt the crack of my father's palm against my cheek before the sound hit the air. A wet slap that echoed like a gunshot over the laughter of 50 drunk relatives toasting his 60th. Blood trickled from my split lip, warm and metallic. As his eyes, those ice-blue eyes I'd inherited but never trusted, locked on mine with the fury of a man who'd just discovered a cockroach in his caviar. "Get the fuck out of my house. You worthless piece of shit," he roared, his voice slicing through the string quartet's rendition of Happy Birthday. "You're no son of mine. You never were." The party froze like a bad rom-com on pause. Aunt Linda's champagne flute slipped from her manicured fingers, shattering on the flagstone patio. Uncle Ray's cigar dropped ash onto his pressed khakis, and my sister, Emily, just stood there, her designer sundress suddenly too tight, her mouth agape in that fake Southern belle shock she reserved for PDA scandals. I'd come home to Phoenix after 3 years grinding in a dead-end IT job in Seattle, thinking a family blowout might mend the cracks I'd ignored since Mom died of heart complications when I was 12. But no. I'd barely gotten through the door with my duffel bag when Dad cornered me in the kitchen, his breath reeking of bourbon and entitlement, hissing about the inheritance bullshit I'd supposedly leaked to some tabloid hack. Lies. All of it. I hadn't said a word about his shady real estate deals or the offshore accounts Mom's diary hinted at. But facts never mattered to Richard Harlan Caldwell. Perception was his god. And I was the heretic. He grabbed my arm, nails digging into flesh like he was staking a claim on the family ranch we never owned, and shoved me toward the French doors overlooking the infinity pool. 25 years I've put up with your lazy ass, Jake, college dropout, bar-hopping loser, and this is how you repay me? By trying to drag my name through the mud. His face was a roadmap of burst capillaries from too many highballs, veins throbbing in his temples like live wires. I yanked free, tasting copper, and for the first time, I saw him not as the silver-haired patriarch who'd coached my Little League team or bankrolled my failed startup, but as the monster who'd always lurked behind the grill master smile. The guests murmured, "Phone's already out," capturing the Caldwell family implosion for Instagram posterity. Emily finally moved, fluttering to his side like a moth to flame. "Daddy." "Please, he didn't mean it," she cooed. But her eyes on me screamed good riddance. I didn't fight back. Not then. I just straightened, wiped the blood with the back of my hand, and met his glare. "Fine, Dad. Consider me gone." The words hung heavy, laced with the finality of a death sentence. As I stormed through the backyard, past the rented white tent strung with Edison bulbs, the caterer's frozen mid-tray, I felt the weight of every forced "yes, sir," and swallowed resentment lift like fog burning off the desert sun. By midnight, I was in my beat-up Honda Civic, peeling out of the gated Camelback Estates community, the saguaros blurring into accusatory fingers against the sodium-lit horizon. Phoenix shrank in my rear view, a glittering mirage of stucco McMansions and strip mall dreams. But the sting on my cheek pulsed like a heartbeat, reminding me this wasn't over. It was just beginning. The drive to my buddy Marco's crash pad in Tempe was a blur of FM radio static and half-formed rages. Marco, a tattooed ex-Marine slinging craft IPAs at a hipster brewery, let me crash on his lumpy futon without questions, bro code in the Valley of the Sun. I nursed a black eye with frozen IPAs and chain-smoked camels on his balcony, overlooking the light rail tracks, replaying the slap in my head like a glitchy VHS. Why now? Dad had always been a powder keg, yelling at refs during ASU games, berating waitstaff at Ruth's Chris, but disowning me over a fabricated leak? It smelled like desperation. like a man cornered by ghosts he'd buried deeper than Mom's ashes in that overpriced Scottsdale columbarium. 2 days later, nursing a hangover and scrolling Zillow for apartments I couldn't afford, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. Arizona area code. I almost let it go to voicemail, probably some collections dick chasing my student loans, but the persistence won out. Jake Caldwell. The voice was crisp, East Coast polished, like a lawyer who'd summered in the Hamptons. This is Eleanor Voss from Voss and Harlan, attorneys at law. We need to discuss your parentage. Parentage. The word landed like a sucker punch. Softer than Dad's, but twice as disorienting. I sat up on the futon, coffee sloshing over the rim of my mug onto Marco's cat's whisker-patterned throw. What the hell does that mean? If this is about the party. It's not about Richard Caldwell, she cut in, her tone clipped as a guillotine blade. Mr. Caldwell is not your biological father. And we're in possession of documents that prove it. Can you come to our office in downtown Phoenix tomorrow morning? 9 sharp. The line went dead before I could sputter a response. I stared at the phone, screen blurring as adrenaline dumped into my veins like bad moonshine. Not my father? The man who'd taught me to throw a curveball, who'd grounded me for sneaking beers at 16, who'd actually cried, when I graduated high school with a 2.8 GPA. It had to be a scam. Some PI shakedown tied to Dad's inheritance bullshit. But curiosity is a cruel bitch. And by 8:45 a.m., I was sweating through a thrift store button-down in the lobby of a glass tower on Central Avenue. The kind of place where receptionists eye you like you're tracking desert dust on Italian marble. Eleanor Voss was a shark in pearls, late 40s. Ash blonde bob. Eyes like polished obsidian behind wire rims. She ushered me into a conference room that screamed old money, mahogany table, original Remington prints of cowboys roping steers, and slid a manila folder across the polished surface. Open it, Mr. Caldwell. Or should I say, Mr. Harlan. My hands shook as I flipped the cover. Staring back was a grainy Polaroid of a newborn swaddled in a hospital blanket, time-stamped August 14th, 1999, my birth date. But the name on the attached birth certificate wasn't Caldwell. It was Harlan. Jacob Elias Harlan. Born at Mercy Gilbert Medical Center to parents Elias and Teresa Harlan. My throat closed like a fist. What is this? Some kind of joke. No joke. Jake. Eleanor's voice softened a fraction, but her gaze stayed predatory. Your biological parents were Elias and Teresa Harlan, affluent couple from Paradise Valley. Tragically, you were kidnapped from the hospital nursery just hours after birth. A brazen snatch, nurse distracted, window jimmied, baby gone. The case went cold after 6 months. No leads. No ransom. Until now. Kidnapped. The word ricocheted in my skull, splintering memories like cheap glass. Dad, Richard, adopting me when I was 3 months old. The orphan story he'd spun about some vague custody battle with a junkie mom. The way he'd always deflected questions about my baby photos, claiming a house fire ate the albums. And Mom, sweet, fragile Teresa? No. Wait, my adoptive mom, Laura Caldwell, who'd died whispering apologies in her hospice bed, her eyes darting like she carried unspeakable weight. Why now? I croaked, flipping through affidavits. DNA reports stamped with a lab in Boston, 99.9% match to the Harlans. And why you? Harlan in the firm name. Eleanor leaned forward, steepling her fingers. Elias Harlan is my client. Your real father. He's dying pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. Always wondered what happened to you. Hired us last year to dig. We hit pay dirt 2 weeks ago when a retired cop tipped us off about a black market baby ring in the 90s. Your adoptive father, Richard Caldwell, was implicated. Not as a buyer, oh no. As the mastermind. The room tilted. Mastermind? Richard Caldwell. Pillar of the Phoenix Chamber of Commerce. Deacon at First Presbyterian. The guy who'd sponsored my Boy Scout troop? Bullshit, I whispered. But the folder mocked me. Wire transfers from shell companies to a consultant matching Dad's old firm. Blurry photos of him shaking hands with a sleazy fixer named Vic the Vicar who'd done time for trafficking. It painted a picture of a desperate man, Richard and Laura infertile after a car wreck. Too proud for IVF. Too connected for legal adoption. So they'd gone dark web, commissioning a theft to claim their miracle. Eleanor's next words sealed it. Elias wants to meet you. Before it's too late. But there's more. Richard knows we're onto him. That's why he lashed out at the party. Our investigators spooked him. He's tying up loose ends.
Jake.
Including you. I left the office in a daze. The desert heat slamming me like Judgment Day. Traffic on the 101 looped in my ears as I merged onto the freeway. The folder burning a hole in my passenger seat. Betrayal didn't cover it. This was a lifetime of engineered love. A facade built on crib bars and chloroform rags. 25 years as a pawn in Richard's ego trip. The slap? A preemptive strike from a cornered rat. By nightfall, I'd holed up in a Motel 6 off I-17, the kind with flickering neons and roaches the size of .45 casings. Marco texted check-ins, but I ghosted him. Trust was a luxury I couldn't afford. I pored over the docs by the harsh buzz of a desk lamp, piecing the puzzle, Richard's real estate empire, built on foreclosed dreams during the '08 crash, laundered through baby barter side hustles. Mom Laura had known. Her heart attack suspiciously timed after she threatened divorce. Poison? The autopsy was inconclusive, per the file. And Emily? My sister. Blood or not, Richard's bio spawned from a later affair. Groomed to inherit the throne I'd slaved to polish. Rage simmered low. A pot about to boil over. Revenge wasn't a word. It was oxygen. But how? Storm the McMansion with a baseball bat? Leak to the Arizona Republic?
No.
Richard was Teflon, friends in the DA's office. Alibis stacked like poker chips. I needed leverage. The kind that unraveled empires from the inside. That's when the burner phone Eleanor slipped me chirped, a text from an unknown number. Harlan Estate. Midnight.
Come alone.
E.H. The real dad.
Dying.
Desperate for his stolen son. Or a trap. The address pinged a sprawling compound in Paradise Valley, the zip code of tech bros and snowbird millionaires. I gunned the Civic North, the superstitions looming like silent witnesses, heart hammering a death metal rhythm. If this was the beginning of the end for Richard Caldwell, I'd make damn sure it ended in flames. The Harlan Estate was a fortress of glass and stone, perched on a hillside like a vulture eyeing the sprawl below. Security lights swept the driveway like search beams, but the gate swung open at my approach. No buzzer. No code. Just an invitation etched in the dark. I parked under a Palo Verde, gravel crunching under tires, and stepped out into air thick with jasmine and deceit. A butler type in a crisp, white shirt met me at the portico, murmuring, "Mr. Harlan awaits," without a flicker of surprise. Inside, the foyer screamed generational wealth, Vaulted ceilings with exposed beams. A Basquiat knockoff screaming color against white walls. The faint tick of a grandfather clock counting down to 0 hour. Elias Harlan sat in a leather wingback by a floor-to-ceiling window overlooking Camelback Mountain. An oxygen cannula snaking from his nose to a hissing tank. He was a ghost of vigor, 60s, maybe, with a hawkish nose and silver hair cropped military short. But his frame was wasted, cheeks hollowed by chemo's cruel chisel. Yet his eyes, green, piercing, lit when I entered, a spark in the dying embers. "Jacob," he rasped, voice like sandpaper on silk, extending a trembling hand.
My boy. God.
"You look just like her." "Teresa." I froze in the doorway, the name hitting like a branding iron. Teresa Harlan. My mother. The woman whose obituary I'd Googled on the drive over, died in a yachting accident off Catalina in 2002, 3 years after my disappearance. Survived by husband Elias, daughter, half-sister, Sophia, and a void where I should have been.
You.
You knew. It was an accusation, not yet. Just raw, jagged need. Elias wheezed a laugh, patting the seat beside him. A side table held a decanter of single malt and a stack of photo albums, edges frayed from desperate thumbs.
New?
I tore the world apart looking for you. Son. Hired PIs. FBI profilers, hell. I even went on Dateline. But the trail went cold. That bastard Caldwell covered his tracks like a pro. He poured 2 fingers of scotch, the liquid glinting amber and crystal, and slid one my way. To Lost Time. We clinked, the burn steadying me as he flipped open the first album. Pages of a life unlived, me as a swaddled threat to the nursery window, Teresa, radiant in a sundress, cradling a phantom bump, family Christmases with a high chair empty at the table. She never recovered, Elias murmured, tracing her smile. Broke her spirit. We had Sophia a year later, IVF, miracles, but it was shadow play. Teresa sailed to forget. And one storm too many. His voice cracked, eyes glistening. Forgive an old man for rambling. The cancer's impatient. I swallowed hard, the scotch warring with bile. This man, this stranger, had mourned me while Richard played house with his prize. Why me? Why reach out now? Because you're Harlan blood.
Jake.
And blood calls. He tapped a folder on the table, thicker than Eleanor's, dog-eared with annotations. We've got enough to bury Caldwell. Bank records. Witness statements from Vic's cell block confessions. But it's not just theft, it's murder. Laura Caldwell didn't die of a bad ticker. Autopsy discrepancies. Toxicology whispers of digitalis. She wanted out. Threatened to go public. He silenced her. Murder. The word detonated. Shards embedding in my gut. My mom. The one who'd baked lopsided apple pies and sewn my prom tie, poisoned by the man she loved? Flashes hit. Her last weeks. Clutching rosary beads. Muttering about sins of the father. I'd chalked it to pain meds.
But now.
Emily. I choked. Does she know? Elias's face darkened. A storm cloud over the valley lights. Your sister is Caldwell's Achilles. Spoiled rotten, but sharp, runs his foundation, launders the image. She was at the hospital that night.
Jake.
Interning as a candy striper. Alibis airtight, but suspicion lingers. Blood or not, she's his. The room spun, allegiances fracturing like cheap china. Emily, with her Pinterest-perfect life.
Complicit?
The slap at the party replayed. Her feigned horror a mask for relief. I gripped the armrest, knuckles whitening.
What do you want from me?
Testimony? A hug-it-out Hallmark moment. I want justice, Elias said, fierce despite the hiss of oxygen. Sue for everything, custody retro. Assets. The works. Expose him. But more, you decide his end. We're Harlan's. We don't forgive, we reclaim.
Reclaim.
The word ignited something primal. A vengeance vein throbbing in my temples. We talked till dawn, Elias sketching the empire he'd built, biotech patents, wind farms in the Mojave. Teresa's laugh echoing in anecdotes. Sophia's number programmed into my phone for, whenever you're ready. He gifted me a signet ring. Harlan crest embossed, eagle talons clutching a babe, and a check, $50,000. For the fight ahead. As I left, the sun cresting the McDowells in bloody glory. He clasped my shoulder. Beware the fox in the henhouse. Son. Caldwell's circling. He wasn't wrong. By noon, my real phone, the one Richard tracked via family plan, blew up. Voicemails from Emily. Saccharine pleas laced with threats. Jake. Daddy's worried sick. Come home, we can fix this. Then Dad's gravelly baritone. You think you can run? I've got eyes everywhere.
Boy.
Dig too deep. And you'll bury yourself. Paranoia prickled my neck. Was the barista at Dutch Brothers eyeing me funny? The tailgater on the 51? I ditched the phone in a dumpster behind a Fry's Electronics. Switched to the burner. And headed north to Sedona, Red Rock Sanctuary. Vortex bullshit notwithstanding. Rented a cabin off 89A with Elias's cash. The kind with vaulted logs and a hot tub overlooking Oak Creek. There, amid the scent of pinyon smoke and tourist wind chimes, I plotted. Revenge wasn't a bar fight, it was chess in the Coliseum. Step 1. Infiltrate. Emily's charity gala next week. Caldwell Cares for Kids. Perfect Trojan horse. I'd crash as reformed prodigal, charm the donors, plant seeds of doubt. Step 2. Digital dirt. Marco had a cousin in cybersecurity. Time to hack the kingdom. Step 3. The kill shot. Confront Richard with the file. Record his confession. Feed it to the feds. But doubt gnawed like termites in drywall. Was Elias clean? His biotech firm. Rumors of off-books trials. Indigenous land grabs for green turbines. And Sophia? A quick call revealed a trust fund artist in Brooklyn, wary of the ghost brother legend. Dad's obsessed, she sighed over FaceTime. Her loft a mess of canvases splashed with violent reds. Don't let him rewrite you. Jake. Blood calls. But does it lie? Nights blurred into fever dreams, Richard's handprint blooming purple. Teresa's yacht splintering on waves. My crib rattling with phantom cries. I woke sweating, the ring heavy on my finger, and drove the twists, Schnebley Hill Road switchbacks mirroring my spiral. Phoenix called like a siren. The gala, 3 days out. I'd shave.
Suit up.
Descend like avenging shade. But as thunderheads piled over the Mogollon Rim, lightning forking the sky, a new text pinged. Caldwell knows about Harlan. He's coming for you.
Run.
A friend.
Friend?
Or Judas. The game had players I couldn't see. And the board was tilting. Vengeance tasted sweet, but poison lingers. The gala was black tie Armageddon at the Heard Museum. Downtown Phoenix dressed to kill in sequins and Rolexes. I slipped in through a service entrance, caterer's vest pilfered from a Goodwill run, tray of prosciutto-wrapped dates balanced like a shield. The air hummed with jazz from a horn section, crystal clinking like ice in a hitman's tumbler. Donors air-kissing over auction paddles for adopted endangered rhinos. Emily held court near the bar, a vision in emerald silk that hugged her like a second skin, her laugh tinkling for the cameras. Richard loomed beside her, Armani tucks straining at the seams, schmoozing a state senator with the ease of a man who'd bought the vote. I dumped the tray in a broom closet, straightened my rented tux, charcoal slim fit. No cummerbund to cramp the .38 I'd tucked in my waistband, unloaded, for now, symbolism over slaughter, and melted into the crowd. Heart pounding a bass line against my ribs, I snagged a flute of Juve and accidentally bumped Emily's elbow. Oops, sister dear. Long time. Her head snapped, flute pausing mid-sip, eyes widening in porcelain dull shock. Jake? What the, daddy? The plea was half whisper, half hiss. But Richard was mid-handshake. Oblivious. She grabbed my arm, nails like talons, dragging me toward a shadowed alcove behind a Kachina doll display. Are you insane? After the party? He's got security. Relax.
Eminência.
Just came to apologize. Lies dripped smooth as the champagne. My smile a wolf's grin. Up close, she was fraying, crow's feet from Botox fails, lipstick smudged from nervous bites. Tell Dad I'm sorry for the leak. Water under the bridge. Her laugh was brittle, a champagne cork popping false. Leak? That's what he thinks. God. Jake. You're dumber than I thought. She glanced over her shoulder, voice dropping to conspiracy hiss. It's not about that. It's you. The Harlans, those bloodsuckers from the valley, sent some suit sniffing around. Daddy's furious, says you're stirring shit to steal the company.
Bingo.
Elias's probe had ripples. I leaned in, breath mingling with her Chanel. Steal?
Nah.
Just truth serum.
Sis.
Like how Mom didn't die of a broken heart, or whatever the coroner signed off on. Her face drained, ghost white under the gallery spots. What do you know about Mom? A tremor. Genuine grief or guilt. Enough to wonder why her obit skipped the sudden illness details. Digitalis overdose.
Right?
Looks a lot like Mercy killing gone wrong. Bluff half-cocked, but her flinch sold it. Emily knew. Or suspected. You're bluffing, she whispered. But her eyes darted to Richard. Now laughing with the senator. A hyena in human skin. Get out.
Jake. Before he sees you.
For old time's sake. Old times. Her stealing my Legos to build Barbie empires. Me covering her shoplifted lip gloss at 15. The sibling pact sealed in stolen Smirnoff under the bleachers. Cracks in the facade. Help me.
Eminência.
Walk away from him. We expose it together, get Mom justice. She recoiled like I'd offered hemlock. Justice? You're the one who ran. And now this Harlan crap? Dad saved you from whatever gutter they pulled you from. Defensive. Venomous, the echo of Richard's gospel. But doubt flickered. A candle in wind. Before I could press, Richard's bulk materialized, hand clamping my shoulder like a vice.
Well,
if it isn't the prodigal fuck-up. His breath was Scotch sour. Eyes bloodshot bullseyes. The crowd parted subtly, whispers rippling like pond scum. Ballsy. Showing here. Or stupid. Missed you too. Dad. Sarcasm barbed wire. Up close. He reeked of desperation, sweat under cologne. Ty askew. Security loomed at the edges. Earpieces glinting. He leaned in. Voice a guttural rumble. Heard you been chatting with lawyers. Big mistake.
Boy.
Harlans are vultures. Pick clean what's not theirs. Drop it, or I'll make that slap look like a love tap. Threat laced with plea. Cornered king. I twisted free. Flashing the signet ring. Harlan eagle glinting like a dare. Too late.
Dick.
The crib bars are rattling. Your empire's built on baby powder and lies. His face purpled. Fist clenching. Echo of the party slap, but Emily's hand on his arm stalled it. Daddy. Not here. Cameras. Poise cracking. But holding. Richard exhaled smoke. Straightening.
Out. Now.
Or I call the cops on a gala crasher. Exile. Round 2. I backed away, weaving through tutued socialites. Pulse thundering. Mission half accomplished. Emily's seed of doubt planted. Richard rattled.
Outside.
Monsoon season's first drops pelted the valet stand, turning the lot to slick black mirror. I slid into the Civic, rain sheeting the windshield, and peeled out, headlights cutting fog like scalpels. The burner buzzed. Elias. Good work. He's squirming. Meet Sophia tomorrow, NYC. Private jet waiting at Sky Harbor. Escape velocity. But as thunder rolled, Emily's text hit my real phone, retrieved from the dumpster gods he's scared.
Jake.
Mom's diary, hidden in attic safe. Combo 081499. Your birthday. Be careful. Betrayal's gift? Or bait? The road to the airport twisted like fate. Wipers slapping rhythm. Vengeance accelerated. But the brakes were faith. And mine were shot. New York hit like a fever dream. JFK's cattle call, chaos giving way to a Gulfstream's leather hush. Elias's jet ferrying me east over amber waves of grain. Sophia met me at Teterboro in a chauffeured Escalade. A whirlwind of boho chic. Cropped raven hair. Silver nose ring glinting under sodiums. Tattoos snaking up olive arms like Aztec code. Ghost bro, she quipped, air kissing my cheek with wary warmth. Dad's been monologuing about you since diapers. Welcome to the madhouse. Her Brooklyn loft was a riot of urban decay meets trust fund whimsy, exposed brick scarred by Pollock-esque drips. Succulents dangling from macrame nooses. A turntable spinning Coltrane's melancholy sax. Over takeout tie from a hole in the wall on Bedford. She spilled the Harlan gospel. Elias's rise from MIT dropout to green energy mogul. Teresa's free spirit poetry slams in Soho. The yacht crash ruled accidental, but whispered sabotage by jealous rivals. Dad's no saint, Sophia admitted. Chopsticks pausing mid-noodle. Wind farm deal in Navajo Nation? Shady as fuck, eminent domain bullshit. But losing you? That broke him clean. Therapy bills could fund a startup. I nodded. Slurping pad, CEW that burned like regret. The ring felt heavier here. Amid artifacts of a life parallel, my baby booties framed beside her toddler Polaroids, a lock of Teresa's hair in a locket. And you? By the prodigal son shtick. She eyed me over her IPAs. Foam clinging to lip. Half. Your blood. Yeah, DNA don't lie. But revenge? That's a black hole.
Jake.
Sucks in everything good. Her gaze softened, tracing my bruised knuckles. Heard about the slap. Classic Richard, control freak in khakis. But exposing him? You'll torch innocents too. Staff. Donors. Emily. Emily. The name twisted like a knife. She's in it.
Soph.
Knew about Mom. Maybe the poison. Sophia snorted. Cynical jazz. Or scared straight. Sisters stick. Blood or bourbon. Give her rope. She slid a tablet across the coffee table, hacked feeds from Caldwell Corp servers. Courtesy of her artist collective with gray hat leanings. Your starter pack. Emails. Ledgers. Richard's baby broker trail. Laundered through charity shells. But watch the blowback. He's lawyered up. Countersuing for defamation. The files were dynamite. Wire logs timestamped to my kidnapping night. Vic the Vickers depot naming Richard as the collector. And deeper, insurance payout on Laura's death. Suspiciously plump. I scrolled till eyes burned. Coltrane wailing accusation. Why help? You barely know me. Because fuck the Caldwells, she said simply. Clinking bottles. And because you're family now. Messy. But ours. Dawn crept over the East River, gilding the Williamsburg Bridge in reluctant gold. Sophia crashed on the couch, leaving me the air mattress amid sketchpads of fractured faces. Hers. Mine? Jet lag warred with insomnia. I paced the fire escape. City hum a lullaby of horns and sirens. Vengeance crystallized. Leak the files anonymously. Force Richard's hand. But Sophia's warning echoed, black hole. Emily's text burned in my pocket. Attic safe. My birthday combo. Temptation's hook. By noon, I was airborne again. Elias's jet slicing southwest. Phoenix awaited. Monsoon swells greening the Sonoran waste. The plan: breach the McMansion under cover of storm. Crack the safe. Unearth Mom's diary. Proof positive or Pandora's box. As the plane banked over the Grand Canyon, rust-red scars in eternal stone, I gripped the armrest. Blood called. But echoes whisper too. What if the truth freed no one? The storm broke as I crested South Mountain, rain lashing the windshield like divine wrath. Camelback Estates gates loomed, RFID scanner beeping denial. Richard had scrubbed my access. No matter, chain-link perimeter. Shadowed by oleanders heavy with bloom. I parked a block over. Hood up. Slipping through like a specter in slickers. The Caldwell manse glowed defiant, porch lights haloing the porte cochere. But the backyard was black, pool a midnight mirror, cabana a hulking tomb. Adrenaline sang in my veins as I scaled the stucco wall. Bougainvillea, thorns raking like accusations. Dropped into the rose garden, breath ragged, and ghosted to the French doors, unlatched. A careless taunt or trap. Inside. The house reeked of neglect, takeout containers fossilizing on counters. Richard's bourbon decanter low as his fortunes. Up the grand staircase. Carpet muffling Nikes. Past Emily's old room, door ajar. Posters of Taylor Swift faded to ghosts. The attic access hid in a linen closet, pull-down stairs creaking like bones. Flashlight beam danced over dust motes and forgotten crates, my Little League trophies tarnished. Mom's wedding veil, yellowed shroud. The safe squatted in the corner. A squat mosseler beast. Combo lock leering. 0-8-1-4-9-9. My birthday, irony's cruel birthday gift. Clicks echoed sharp. Tumblers yielding like confessions. Door swung open, revealing stacks of ledgers, flash drives, and leather-bound. Embossed with laurels, a diary. Mom's script blooming on the cover, Laura's secrets. I sank to the plyboard floor. flashlight propped on a hat box, and open to the first entry, March 1999. Richard's eyes light up at the agency pics. Perfect, he says. But the price.
God.
The price. Vic swears it's clean. But my gut twists. Page after page unfurled the rot. Infertility shame. Richards rages over barren wife, the hospital payoff sketched in frantic ink. August 15th. The baby, Jacob.
So small.
So innocent. Richard holds him like a trophy, but his smile doesn't reach. What have we done? Then. Darker. 2005. I can't take the lies. The money's blood money. Threatened to tell, he laughed. Said accidents happen. Digitalis in the garden shed. For the heart. Suicide note? Or warning? Final entry. Scrawled shaky. Jake. If you read this, run.
He's not your father.
He's a thief.
Love. Mom.
P.S. The Harlans, they'll find you. Tears blurred the beam. Salt mixing with dust. Mom's love. A suicide's plea, poisoned by proxy. Her death a cover for the sin they shared. But Richard? Sole architect. I pocketed the diary. Flash drive 2, digital venom for the leak. Footsteps thudded below. Richard home early. Bourbon-slurred curses filtering up. Panic spiked. I killed the light. Stairs retracting with a groan. Down the hall. Shadows lengthening as headlights swept the drive. Company? I ducked into Emily's room. Heart jackhammer. Peeking through blinds. Richard's Bentley purred to halt, disgorging him, and Eleanor Voss, the lawyer. Pearls gleaming rain-slick. Expression unreadable. Whispers carried on damp air. Harlan's bluffing. Richard. No hard proof. Eleanor's voice. Cool, operative. But the sun's a loose end. Handle it. Richard's growl. Already on it. Vic's out tomorrow, clean-up crew. Betrayal squared, Eleanor. Elias's shark. In Caldwell's tank, double agent. Or triple. I slipped out the window. Downspout slick as eel. Dropping to mulch with a thud muffled by thunder. Rain soaked me bone deep as I vaulted the wall. Civic roaring to life. Texts flew. To Sophia, diary gold. But Voss dirty. To Emily got it.
He's done.
Elias trap? The road unwound in sheets of silver. Wipers frantic. Vengeance crested. But alliances fractured. Whose side the board? Monsoon flash. Lightning etching the truth. No heroes. Only survivors. And I was done surviving. The motel off I-10 was a dive's dive, neon vacancy flickering like a drunk's promise. Parking lot pocked with oil stains and abandoned dreams. I checked in under John Doe, cash across the scarred Formica, and barricaded the door with a rickety chair. The diary splayed on the bed like an autopsy. Pages dog-eared. Mom's cursive a lifeline to the grave. I scanned it to the burner. Emailed Sophia for safekeeping. Then paced the threadbare shag. Paranoia a livewire. Vic the vicar out tomorrow. Richard's hitman. Paroled early on good behavior. Muscle for the messy end. Dawn bled red through sodium haze. A coffee bitter as regret from a mister. Coffee pot crusted with lies. Plan coalesced. Confront Richard at his office, downtown tower. Corner suite with valley views he'd lord over like a feudal baron. Leak the diary post-meet. Viral via Sophia's hacker hive. But first, armor up, call Marco for backup. The .38 loaded now. Cold comfort in the glove box. Traffic choked the Black Canyon Freeway. Semis belching diesel hymns. My mind a loop of slaps and secrets. Caldwell Properties HQ loomed, a steel and glass phallus piercing the sky. Valet eyed my Civic like roadkill, but I waved him off. Storming the lobby, marble veined like lies. Receptionist smile Botox tight. Mr. Caldwell's expecting no one. Tell him it's the ghost of Christmas past. She buzzed, face paling at the reply. Elevator whisked me up, stomach lurching with the altitude. Richard's secretary, mid-40s, sensible pumps, ushered me in without a word, her glance pitying. The office was Empire's apex, floor-to-ceiling windows framing pinyon-dotted hills. Desk a slab of petrified wood, walls lined with framed Forbes clippings and a single photo, family portrait. Me at 10, sandwiched between him and Mom. Emily photobombing with braces gleam. Richard stood at the window, back turned, scotch in hand despite the hour. Knew you'd come crawling, he said without turning, voice flat as the hangover horizon. I tossed the diary on the desk, leather slapping teak like indictment. Read it,
Dad.
Mom's last words. Your masterpiece. He pivoted slow, glass pausing mid-sip, eyes narrowing on the cover. Color drained, then surged, apoplectic flush. Where the fuck did you get that? Snatch for it. But I blocked. Chair scraping back.
Attic.
Your safe's got a memorable combo. I leaned in. Venom low. Kidnapping. Murder. Quite the legacy. Harlan's have the files. Feds on speed dial. Resign. Or rot. Laughter barked. Hollow as a dry well. Harlan's? That dying Jew and his dyke daughter? They bought you with pity.
Boy.
I made you house. Clothes. That piece of shit degree. He slammed the glass down. Amber sloshing.
Yeah.
I took you. Paid top dollar for perfection. Laura wanted a boy. I delivered. And her?
Weak.
Blabbing after one too many Chardonnays. The pills. Mercy. She begged. Confession hung. Air thickening. Recorder word in my pocket. Eleanor's gift. Now karmic boomerang. Mercy? Or muzzle? Vic's rolling in. Clean up on aisle Jake. His smirk faltered. Eyes flicking to the door.
Vic?
Old news. But you threat. Hand dipped to drawer. Gun? Panic flared. I lunged, tackling him over the desk. Wood cracking underweight. Scotch shattered. Shards biting palms as we grappled. Ties askew. Breaths ragged. You are mine, he roared. Fist connecting with ribs, crack. Pain blooming fire. I need free. Scrambling up. .38 drawn, trembling barrel on his chest. Mine to ruin? No more. Click of hammer. His eyes widening, not fear, but calculation. Do it, son. Make me the martyr.
Standoff.
Rain pattering glass like applause. Sirens wailed distant. Backup? Or trap sprung. Door burst, security. Tasers crackling. I bolted for the window. Fire escape?
No.
Suicide drop. Instead, a faint left. Bolt right, hallway blur. Secretary shrieking. Elevator dinged empty, stairs down. Legs pumping lactic burn. Lobby chaos, cops swarming. Richard's bellow echoing. Out the garage ramp. Civic fishtailing onto Central. Rubber screaming. Burner rang. Sophia. Files live. Twitter's exploding. Caldwell kidnapped trending. You're viral. Ghost bro. Adrenaline crashed as I merged onto I-17 North. Monsoon easing to mist. Richard caged. But at what cost? Emily's call-pierced voicemail. Jake. It's over. I told the cops everything. Mom's diary.
I'm sorry. For all of it.
Sobs choked static. Vengeance crested. Wave breaking on Revelation shore. But as Sedona's spires rose, red as fresh spilled, Elias texted, proud. Son. Come home. Home. Harlan or hollow. The ring glinted. Eagle talons clutching truth's babe. No heroes. Only echoes. And mine whispered, rebuild. Or burn it all. The cabin in Sedona was sanctuary's fragile shell, log walls creaking under wind's sigh. Hot tub bubbling like a witch's cauldron against the night's chill. I collapsed into it post-escape, water scalding bruises. Diary sodden beside a six-pack of Pacifico. Twitter feeds glowed on my phone. Caldwell kidnap a bonfire. Reporters swarming the tower. Richard cuffed in a perp walk photo. Emily's tear-streaked presser going viral. My brother's a hero. Daddy's a monster.
Hero?
The word chafed. Ill-fit as the borrowed suit. Sleep evaded. Chased by phantoms. Mom's cursive pleas. Richard's dying lion roar. The .38's cold kiss. Dawn found me on the deck. Coffee steaming into fog-shrouded canyons. When the Escalade purred up, Sophia at wheel. Elias in passenger. Oxygen tank strapped like a bomb. They climbed out slow, her arms steadying him, and joined me wordless, three ghosts reconvening. He confessed. I started. Voice raw. On tape. Everything snatch. Poison. The works. Feds have it. Parade of suits inbound. Elias nodded. Green eyes misty. Cannula hissing benediction. Saw the feed.
Bold. Jacob.
Harlan bold. He pressed a thumb drive into my palm. Final ledger. Biotech patents deeded my name. Your inheritance. Clean the empire. Make it right. Sophia snorted. Lime from her seltzer zingy. Or burn it. Your call. Blood. Her gaze held mine. Challenging sister's test. Emily's latest text pinged. Charges dropped on you. I'm testifying against him. Forgive?
Forgive.
The chasm yawned. I pocketed the drive. Standing to face the vortex swirl below, energy ley lines or bullshit. It pulled. Maybe. After the trial, vengeance's afterglow faded to ash, justice a colder fire. Elias coughed, phlegm rattling. Teresa'd be proud. He clasped my hand, ring to ring, eagles locking talons. Family now. Messy, but whole. Whole. The words settled uneasy, but true. As they drove off, red tails vanishing into mist, I lingered, phone to ear. Marco's voice gruff comfort. Bro, you're trending. Beers on me. Emily's follow-up. Attic safe had more, your real birth pics. For you. Rebuild called. From Sedona's red heart outward. Richard's empire crumbled.
But mine?
Unwritten. No twist of fate. Just choice, hero or hollow. Saint or survivor. I chose the canyon's echo. Forward. Flawed.
Free.
But wait. Twist's shadow. Weeks later. In the Harlan Library. Pouring ledgers. A yellowed envelope slipped free. Mom's, no. Teresa's handwriting. To my stolen son. If Richard didn't take you, I did. For your safety, Elias's rages. My addictions. Forgive the lie. Love eternal. Polarity flipped. Kidnapper saint or sinner. Debate rages in court of blood. Hero's burden. Vengeance's veil. I burn it. Or bear it. The end. Ambiguous as American dusk.